Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to these cosmic waves of light ascension, or the call, cosmic ascension waves of light. And today's date is the 15th of April, 2025, and it is 8:52 here PM in Ireland, 8:52 PM in Ireland. And this evening we have two beautiful souls. We have Shakara Tosha joining us from America, and Christy Clark from Dublin in Ireland, and myself, Soma Ara, also in Ireland, in Cork. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us, and very much looking forward to connecting in with these two beautiful souls this evening. Um, yeah. So, let me ask you first, guys, what's happening in your worlds where you are, either collectively or personally, or even both? I don't know who would like to go first.
I don't mind. Shakara, I can go first, or if you want to go first, I'm easy.
Oh, you can go first. That's fine.
Okay. Um, Such a big question, Soma. Um, and Break it down. I'll try and be as quick as possible. I'm doing really good. Since we last connected. A lot going on really in the world, really, that I'm not paying too much attention to, and I'm keeping focus on self and my star being. Um, Well, we would say not only star beings, there's many beings coming forward. I have family coming forward from the other side. I think we discussed that in the past. So I'm really excited about that, and that continues to manifest and play out on a daily basis. So I'm quite busy there. I invest a lot of time in that department, and I quite enjoy it. 3D on a personal level, it's a little bit busy. When I say a little bit busy, it's busy with work and life in general, but I sort of give myself a lot of time to focus on my awareness and what's happening to me on the inside and outside. And with the support of our friends above, makes that really so enjoyable, really, because I know that we are not on our own. And we have many coming forward to allow us to experience this wonderful change that is happening on Gaia. And yeah, it's great really to be able to witness the energy changes around us within, and also with the people we connect with on a day-to-day basis. That is family, friends, and anyone we meet in traffic, so yeah, I'm just going with the flow with that, and keeping a close eye on self and watching the triggers that will take me, into that sort of mindset where I can get distracted, with the chaos. But a lot of the times I chose not to go there, I find solitude for me is key, and that's staying focused on self, getting into the forest, getting into nature, getting out to the sea. I done some sea swims there last week, which was really beautiful. The weather here in Dublin was amazing. So I prepared myself early on a day-to-day basis and got my bike out and off I went, So that was really wonderful for me, very nourishing and also entertaining. We had some beautiful seals visit us in the sea on two occasions, and I met people that I spoke to that I'd never seen before. We shared food and I really enjoyed the experience, So that's really where I'm at the moment, folks. So thanks for allowing me to share.
Yeah, so well, thank you. I always love talking to you guys. And boy, what isn't going on right now? That's all I have to say. The you know, cosmically, so many changes are happening. So many star guides are moving around, shifting in and out, doing what they're doing at many levels. So much energy is coming in right now, and I think a lot of people can feel it, especially with this new moon. And what I'm being shown is a lot of these star guides are coming closer and closer and starting to interact more deeply with people, you know, so there's that. And then all these timelines are shifting so radically. You know, it's almost like moment by moment, wherever people are tuned in, you know, they're going to go. You know, it's like the scenario is rewriting itself and adjusting itself every moment. So there's that. And I think those of us who are sensitive can feel all that stuff. I mean, personally, you know, I have a lot going on. I'm really excited about. I have a lot of new work I'm rolling out. I have like 6 projects going on at once. So that's really exciting. The weather here, I'm still in Wisconsin, and it's been like 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and then 20, and then 80 and 20, and the sun comes out and goes under. And, you know, I mean, that's just what's going on right now, but it does affect people, their moods. And, you know, I'm finding people are, like Christy was saying, you know, the synchronicities are really lining up. You think about somebody they call and that kind of thing. And at the same time, it's making people agitated. What I'm finding, you know, when I'm driving around, people aren't even thinking, and they're, you know, doing crazy things. And so it's really important to stay in your center. You know, it's practice, it's a discipline to, you know, stay balanced with everything going on outside. But same as Christy, I'm still kind of off grid. You know, I'm in a city, but I don't interact a lot with people right now because I'm finishing all these projects. And so, you know, and I am choosing very diligently what I'm tuning into. So I'm not watching the heyday of what's going on, you know, with the news and the politics and all that stuff. I'm really I find I'm walking in another dimension. I mean, I'm more up there, out there than I am here right now. And so to pop in and, you know, go to the grocery store and everything, it's a nice break from what I'm doing, because I'm also pulling lots and lots of work together, videos and webinars and courses and all that stuff. So it's really, it's a challenge, but I think a lot of people are navigating this now. Like, where do you put your attention? How are you finding your joy, your inner joy, which I think is really important, finding the balance, and you know, really regulating your own system and doing what makes you happy. And so, like Christy, I go out on the land. I'm living near a marsh, and there are you know, cranes walking across the street. Last night I went out, and there were 2 deer just staring at me, just kind of hanging out outside. So I go out and talk to the trees. I look at the clouds. I look at the sky, you know, the stars at night. I mean, I'm really grounded by the earth, elemental, and cosmic stuff. So, yeah.
I'd like to say something about that, because it's really resonating with me. For so long, I've been so ungrounded. I was so ungrounded, especially with through the trauma as a child, learning to leave my body. And I think now, for a lot of us, we are finding that balance. We are finding. I saw a post the other day about star seeds, and the words were, excuse my French, but the words were, star seeds are now getting their shit together, and becoming doing what they need to, you know, whether it be paperwork or videos or regulating their system or grounding or going outside or whatever it is. And I've for so long I was very ungrounded and very connected to the galactics and the star nations and you know, the Pleiadians, and yet I had no foundation, no stability on planet Earth. You know, I was there was a period where I was actually homeless and very, and that was due to my own, well, there were different reasons for it, but it was my part of my soul journey, but also it was partly to do with being ungrounded and not being enough in the physical, where things just, the wind took me because I didn't have any roots. And now I'm learning to, it triggered me to say it, Shakara, because I've learned, or still learning all the time, to go up and out and connect. And then I can now go into the trees, because we're surrounded by trees here in the garden. Where I'm living is really beautiful, and there's a huge, it's not just a garden, it's a piece of land that's quite large, and there's a lot of trees. So I'm doing the same thing as you were saying just now. I'm, learning to balance the going into the higher dimensions, or the trance channeling state, which I found hard to come back down to earth. And now I can do that. So I can switch off the video and then go and have coffee and look at the trees and the birds, and just really ground. And it's just amazing. I'm in such a beautiful space here. So, and I think I think it's important to mention that, because I think so many starseeds are learning to do that, learning to balance the trance, or the channeling, or the being in the, it's multidimensional. I was thinking about that the other day, because I was in my room here, and I was just very aware of a lot of different energies, and they, perhaps some of them were present and some of them weren't, but I was aware that everything is happening now in my room. It's not out there somewhere that's unobtainable. It's, there's so much that has been hidden from us. And I mean, the likes of Jesus, we can all connect with him, or Yeshua. And there's been so much that's been, we've really been lied to on such a mass scale, where we've, especially through the Catholic Church. And being Irish, I know I've got an English accent, which often people get deceived by. But with being Irish and the Catholic Church, that we've been so deceived. So I'll just hand that over to you guys.
Can I just add to that also? What's challenging for people that are tuned in to the higher realms is when you go out there, it's so much different. It's lighter, it's easier, you can travel, you're not in a heavy body, you're not feeling gravity. I got this whole download the other day about gravity, and it's not just what keeps us here on Earth. I mean, it's how atoms work and how consciousness works, and there's gravity in thought and electromagnetic attraction, and it's very dynamic. So there's that. So when people travel, when they function and they can go in these higher dimensions, it's also very hard to believe that, because it's so beautiful if you're having a good experience, right? I mean, I'm going on and off ships all the time, with one main one, but I'm traveling, I'm remote viewing. So there's the out there, and I'm getting lessons and downloads and teachings all day, like nonstop. I mean, it's constant work. When I go in dream time, it's the same thing. I'm building, I don't know, planets and structures and blueprints and maps, and then I remote view all over the world, sometimes by choice and sometimes I just go there. So I'm traveling through Uluru and under the Sphinx, and through Africa. I mean, what underground tunnels. I mean, I'm seeing stuff that's so intense. It's like I can just tune into a nodal point and go there now. And so when you have that kind of experience and then come back to 3D and you have to talk to people that have no idea that that's even available or it's going on or what the behind the scenes are, and then witnessing them going through their changes with this veil lifting, oh my gosh, I didn't know this guy could do this in the world, or I had no idea that these systems were connected. And so and what I'm getting is, as people are evolving, it's like they're putting it into the cache system, the CACHE, the all the data bank of the Akashic records. And so everything is dynamically moving right now. And that's what I'm finding. So it's a combination of, finding yourself. I think everybody's going through, myself included, who am I? What am I doing? Why am I here? What's my purpose? How do I help people? How do I do the things that make me happy and keep the day to day going? I think that's the biggest challenge. So you've got all these factors happening simultaneously, and the big thing I think for me is authenticity. I'm my energy read with people is so spot on right now, and seeing where people are coming from and what their intention is, and the vibration. And so things that I resonated with before are changing, and my interests are changing. But it's really about what I'm finding, it sounds like Christy too, is going within, really getting centered, which is really the cosmos. The whole universe is from within, and then we create it. So it's almost like we've been given the access to these tools more and more every day to manifest. And people are starting to do it, whether they're conscious or not. And they're seeing the effects of, wow, I just had a thought and something happened. I'm materializing things. So it's like a free fall right now.
Christy, would you like to add to that?
Yes, thank you, Soma. Thank you, Shikara. Wonderful listening to you again. Yeah, it's interesting what you say, really, and it's sort of my script as well. Like, but I'm aware also that we are all healing at this time, like, and we are healing on the inside, really, and that is from the reality that we have come from. We may not be in that reality at the moment because we have become aware and we are awake to the bigger picture, but there's still a lot going on really on the inside, I feel, for most of the collective, even for people who are graduating in that area of awareness, like, because we chose to come into a quite difficult time, really. And we were aware before we took the physical what we were coming back to, like, And I remember a quote that Renturas gave me a few years ago, and he basically asked me, he says to me, "Are you ready?" And I went, "Ready?" He said, "Yes, we need to know that, like, and that's no pressure on you," he said. But if you are ready, well, then we can begin is their interaction with me and other star beings. So I more or less said yes, I was ready, and that was the game changer. Like I realized at that point that I had sort of moved into another chapter, like, but still keeping in mind that I had come through a very difficult time where I was trying to understand what this was all about. Like, when I say this, I mean what's going on the outside, and we touched on that a few minutes ago. It's quite chaotic out there, like, from all parts of the globe, like, and everyone is trying to find this common ground where they see, yes, there is a possibility that we can maybe move to the next stage. And I think moving to the next stage for me is keeping the focus on self. So, as you say, yes, there's a lot of work being done in Astral, like, there's no doubt about it, like, and we all play a part in that, and that is the beings that are aware of it, like, and we do play a big part upstairs with our galactic family. But Ranturis did point out to me on one occasion, he said, "Do me a favor, will you?" And I said, "What?" He said, "Stop trying to be so perfect, will you?" And I said, "What?" He sort of blew me away with that statement. Now, this was in the channeling session. We're a World and Old channel. We're going to meet him on Thursday, me and Soma. So yeah, he said, "Stop trying to be so perfect. Like, we're watching you down there, and you're really, putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Like, the reason we say this, dear one, is because we want you to enjoy the experience down there, even though it's quite chaotic, and we see it for what it is. But we want you to have a good time. So, drop your guard, relax, and just go with the flow. We're watching closely what's playing out, and we are interacting with you on a higher level. But please don't be that hard on yourself. Let it take its course. And by you doing so, yes, that allows us to connect with you on a deeper level, So when you bring that awareness back to yourself, you realize, well, okay, I have friends in other places, and I want to I want to open that relationship up more. So what do I have to do? So as you described there, Shikari, yeah, we all like playing with our toys, that sort of way. So Rentour has passed a comment to me as well, many comments, but he said, "We're going to strip you to the bone and rebuild you." And I went, "Really?" And my ego kicked in, and I says, "Not really." No, I didn't say that on speaker, so he'd hear it, but he was reading my mind. I says, "No, you're not going to strip me to the bone, that sort of way." But that's exactly what happened, over a period of time they take our toys off us and they bring us back to that nothingness, and all we've left is self. So we have no choice really to put the focus on self, even though we have to get into the car, we have to go to the grocery store, we have to interact and we have to engage. But there's an aspect of ourselves that's very, very much aware. There's a place I need to go to, if it's even for a short period, um, of the day, and just to focus on really the bigger picture, and the bigger picture really is self, really. That's it, and that is what we're seeing at the uh, sorry, Sona. Yeah, that's what we are seeing
I
as we
what?
look across
I
the
didn't do
spiritual
it.
community. Sorry, Sona, I didn't get that.
No, I didn't. You said sorry, Soma, but I didn't do anything.
Oh, that was my fault. Sorry. Yeah. So that's what we're seeing across the bigger community. We're seeing people beginning to understand the changes really. And some are on a spiritual level. We've been through a tsunami, in many shapes or forms, across the globe, and it's come in all shapes and sizes. And that has given people, the collective, a bit of a wake-up call, really, to maybe look at the bigger picture, And I'm sensing and seeing that myself, So for for each of us on an individual basis, yeah, we can be a support to loved ones. We can be a support to people around us. We can give some insight as to what's happening with disclosure from the information that we are receiving or the information we feel is there, and that is really where I see it's at, So I think once you can be aware of really what's happening to you on a vibrational level and where that's taken you, you can offer so much support to people around you. Like as I said to Soma today, right now at this moment, I haven't got a problem in the world. Not a problem, because everything is happening right now. There's nothing outside of now. Now, the clock will take us because we have commitments and we have plans in this reality. But right now, everything is perfect. And when you become aware of that, you can manifest really what you want because you are the creator of your reality. And how that plays out is entirely up to you. As I've said, we are the film director. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you,
May,
Christy.
that?
I've had very similar stuff coming through, and in a similar energy, just blissful, and yeah, I think that's, I think a lot of people are, I think a lot of starseeds are feeling that. So
Can I add something to that?
please.
But so what I'm finding is it's a combination of people letting go of a hold on thinking or allowing or whatever the outside world to dictate to them who they are, what they do, how they spend their time, you know, that, and that's what most people have been conditioned to engage with. And that is going away for lots of different reasons. And also people are just, they don't want to do that anymore. So as that's happening, it's starting to separate, and people are able to actually feel themselves for the first time. Wow, I am I. What is the I? Where am I? You know, and then they start to see that, you know, it's regaining control and inner power. And so I think people are playing with that. And it's a strange thing. I think a lot of people are, you know, there are those of us that are doing our work and that kind of thing. We're just doing what we do, you know. And a lot of people have asked me, a couple people asked recently, well, do you think the timeline is already separated and the shift has happened and the new earth, the old earth? And I said, it's all happening at once, like Christy was saying. And what I'm finding is everybody is on their own timeline. You know, how you're anticipating something, what you're thinking about, how you interpret what is going on or what will happen. I mean, so many people want to be done with this cycle. You know, it's getting kind of boring, you know, the hurry up and wait. And I find, you know, even in my friend groups or my clients, it's really very different schools of thought. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, the dark energies are leaving and everything is getting lighter. So people are feeling that. Some people are saying, you know, we're going through hell and it's, you know, it's going to get worse before it gets better, and all these things have to be revealed. So that's what they're actually experiencing, you know, and that's what they're interpreting. And then other people are like, you know, the star people are going to come very soon, you know, maybe in the next couple of days. You know, they're waiting and anticipating for something to come in and save them, or take them somewhere, or some shift to happen, a ship come or something, you know. And I think, you know, this is the time that we humans and individuals really, really need to take responsibility for being a human. You know, I do believe that I've been shown that we chose to be here. We didn't really know all the details, and that's what's tricky. But that's why we came the way that we came. We're experiencing life. You know, what is it like to be sad? What is it like to struggle? What is it like to feel invigorated, you know, smell the air? I mean, it's sensory, it's emotional, it's psychological, it's happening on so many levels. So while this is happening and people are starting to awaken, these waves are coming in. You know, all the planets are in the process of shifting to the next frequency, you know, and the movements of the planets are affecting people. You know, they're talking to each other, the planets, these energies. A new energy is coming in from a different solar system. There are, you know, star groups. Every time somebody comes in our awareness or our region, our universe, you know, our solar system. I mean, there are solar systems and universes colliding right now that have never happened before. So there's like a huge, I don't know, like a grand experiment of the next phase, you know, how this is happening. So, you know, it's really, really important, I think, for people like, you know, both of you were saying, to find your center, whatever that means. Find your happy place. You know, take a bath if you enjoy that. You know, talk to a friend. I mean, we all need to encourage each other through these times. And I think that, you know, how is it going for you? I mean, it's great that you asked that question, because it's good to tap in to other people that are having somewhat similar experiences so that you can share and know that you're not alone. I think that's the big thing, and trust that there is a bigger picture. And just like Christy said, we got to kick back and just, be in the present. And that is what will guide you, to the next day, the next moment.
Thank you,
That's
Cara. Thank you. Um, okay, so welcome back, guys. We just had a little break there. So, so much to talk about. I don't know where to start. But there is a huge shift, and we are here for this specific lifetime. Now, I wasn't expecting to go into a channel, and I'm going to put it on hold. But um, who would like to go first with either channeling or light language or?
I don't want.
Go for it.
I can bring in Rantours if you like. See what he has to say.
I have many questions for him.
Okay. No problem.
Maybe not now.
He's just walking in the room.
Yeah. I think a lot of my questions for him are, to start with, would be more personal.
They can be asked in your quiet time, Shauna, or you can ask them directly. Um, so I'll bring in Rantours now. Is that okay?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, please do. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not tired. I just normally yawn and feel that way before I channel or before I speak light language. So don't feel I'm going to fall asleep on you folks.
Yes, no, I just realized that after I said it when you were yawning again. And there's another channel that does that called, I think it's Daniel Scranton, who channels, I think it's the
The
Arcturian.
Octarians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does that as well.
Yeah. Yes, I am here. This is Rantours Volantrius, and it again wonderful to connect with you, Soma and Shikara. In this way, I have been, of course, observing the conversation. It's quite interesting. As usual, you always have interesting gossip for us. Excuse the expression. So yes, it is nice. I've come in with I would say a bit of a force this time, just to allow you to sense and feel my energy. I am connecting with you outside of this call. as you have mentioned to Chris Soma, that you do feel my presence. Well, I am glad for that. I am glad you are connecting with me in that way. As I have said before, when you connect with this one here, I am always available to you. So yes, I am happy to be here. So you have gone through many discussions in your conversations, and you have touched on many different scenarios, which is interesting. Also, you speak of timelines, which is interesting on your planet, and you speak about the experience of these timelines, which is also interesting. So I'm happy for that, that you were able to experience really that reality because it is open to you. It's one of the reasons, of course, why you came back to that beautiful planet that you call Mother Earth. And we are happy for you because it wasn't a gamble that you took going back. You knew, you were aware, yes, before you came into what you call the suit, the body suit, that you were coming back to really an interesting place. And it was interesting and still is interesting. There is so much happening at once, as you described in your discussions. So we are, of course, always happy to be able to come through in this way and to be part of these wonderful discussions that are taking place, not just among yourselves. There is many of you on the planet at this time that is ready to come forward and offer the support that is needed for many on your planet, which you have touched on also, that continue to move at their pace. But let me say this, dear ones, that is perfectly okay for each individual. You are aware of this. They are where they are meant to be, and that is okay. Sometimes looking in through your lens can be difficult. You see so much going on around you, and you want to change it. I say it because it's important that you put the focus back on self. And this one has touched on that in his discussions. He has allowed himself to see really the importance of going within. We continue to give him a little nudge. Sometimes he hears us and sometimes he chose to ignore us. And that is perfectly okay as well. It's called what you see, the human experience. And that brings us much joy because we watch really how that plays out. And we continue to come forward. And we will continue to come forward to you in this way because you are, we would say, so different in many, many ways. You came into what you would call the bodysuit, an incarnation on Earth, knowing that it was going to be, we would say, quite difficult. We don't mean all the time. We do mean you have the opportunities. If I am getting these words right, you do have the opportunity to change and manifest and create what you want. Again, discussed in your conversation, wonderful awareness. But we would say for many down there, it is more or less a bit of a struggle because they are going through what you would call chaos on your planet. It continues to play out in different ways, as you see on a day-to-day basis. And that can be difficult for anyone that is not aware of the bigger picture. So it's important for you to be ready to come forward. And that is what is happening at this time. You come across in a way that allows loved ones around you and people who are looking for that support to understand really what is happening. You may not have all answers. We understand that. But this is where we come in. This is where we offer support to you. You are aware of this. We give you the downloads, we give you the updates, we give you the information that is needed to maybe allow a loved one or a friend to understand what is happening. So it's not about that you have achieved really what you sense of, we would say, that awareness. You have got to a certain point where you now understand that you have to give what you have away, to give it away. And by giving it away, really, that allows you to understand the importance of your role on this planet at this time. So it's really interesting. interesting again for us to observe. For me, of course, yes, Renturas connecting to this one in this way again gives me that opportunity. I watch Chris play on a day-to-day basis. It's quite interesting to watch him move around. He gets himself into some trouble, of course, at times, but he is quite aware also. But again, it's all part of the fun on planet Earth. And really, it's one of the reasons why you came forward to come in. It is again expansion in many, many ways. So I will get this time and I will take a question if you have one, dear ones. Mm, mm, mm,
I have many questions. Um,
mm.
I'm
Yes,
trying to think of one that is um, that can be aired publicly.
yes.
And I might even press the stop the recording and ask a question if that is okay with you.
Yes, of course it's okay with us. We are here with you. Yeah. Mm. I am still here, yes. So if you have a question, please come forward. Or if you prefer just to sit and feel the energy, that is okay also. We are not here to interrogate you in any way. We are here to have what you call is fun. We can speak about the serious situations in your lives, maybe at another time. But be aware, dear ones. Yes, it is important to discuss where you feel you are at this time, but it's also important to bring humor into our conversation so you can feel what is happening to you in this present. Because you and us are so connected. There is no separation. So as you run forward with your questions of uncertainty, let me assure you that all the answers that you are looking for on the outside is there within. You are just looking in the wrong places. And that is okay. It is all part of what you call the experience. You eventually will get to a point where you will understand. I am where I should be because of this situation. Is it because you created it? Yes, of course. As one of your speakers spoke about earlier on, Shikara, why am I here? Interesting point. And who am I? Two wonderful questions that this one here would normally bring forward in his discussions also, because again, it is so difficult to understand at times. And we accept and we understand and we support. So the view of self sometimes is not recognized. Some feel it's not necessary. One continues to view the world around them, which is also beautiful and okay. That's if you want it to be. And this is where it gets tricky because you have the opportunity to change your vibration and frequency in that moment. And that was openly discussed in your sharing as you viewed yourself and the outside world and how that impacted on each and every one. So again, it's about being aware, being awake, and allowing that to grow. But as I said, giving it away is so important. That awareness that you hold is waiting for someone to take it from you. And we mean in a kind way. That is why you are there at this time. That is why you chose this particular path. That is why you chose this timeline to have this experience. So as I watch this play out with this one here called Chris, it allows me also to have what you call the human experience, which I quite enjoy. But it also allows me to offer some support in ways that gives Chris the understanding as to why he is here. Um, um, and in doing so, yes, you're giving the opportunity to play with that idea and share your experiences from that idea. So there's no really need to complicate it. We get ourselves to a point where we try to question an outcome or a situation. Remember, you have walked to that point. You have lived that situation to that point. Then there's a change occurs within you, and you are looking for these answers and feedback and support, of course, which we offer. But as I said to Chris on numerous occasions, and I think it's important that you hear this, that yes, we can come forward and support you, but you also have to do the push-ups. And you understand what we mean by this. You have to do the push-ups. And that is the work that is needed. We can meet you halfway, but it's important that you come forward also and prepare yourself for the change that you want. So as you reflect in the moment and just take a scenario or a situation into your awareness, now you will see that you have taken yourself to this point for a reason. Is it because you're looking for an answer? Is it because you're looking for some guidance, which we can offer? Would we want to make you aware of your greatness, dear one? We want you to understand that you can create and manifest what you want. That can be tricky at times, we do understand. But we are throwing that at you at this time so you understand that you are the creator, as it has been said, of what you call your reality. Mm. So it's quite easy. It's not really that complicated. Sometimes we look at you and we look at what we see as you call the mess. It's not really a mess. It's an experience that one chooses to experience. And in that experience, that mess will take them probably to another mess, or it may leave them at some stage when they have what you call, let's say, an awakening. Mm. It's quite interesting. It's part again of the human experience. It's part of why you came back. Mm. And you were all given that opportunity to play in that reality and bring something forward, not to the outside world, to yourself. So, as I have said to dear Chris on numerous occasions, this is about you and me, of course, but it's about you putting the focus back on self. We can give you some guidance, but it's about you also making a conscious effort to see what you bring forward, not just to yourself, but to people around you. And this is why you have been chosen to walk this path. So I'm bringing this forward in a way that you understand. I'm bringing humor into this conversation because we don't want it to be really that complicated for you. We don't want it to be that serious. We do see the struggle on your planet at this time. We do understand it's happening in a lot of places, quite clearly, and mm, your governments continue to negotiate. We don't need to go into that dialogue because it will take us down another timeline, which is not necessary. Again, it's necessary for you to again understand that you have all these wonderful gifts that have been given to you. You have all this wonderful awareness. It's important that you make sure it's given out to the collective in a way that you can say, yes, this is who I am. This is why I'm here. Mm, mm, mm. So again, thank you for allowing me to share in this way. It gives me that it gives me that wonderful feeling again when I come into this, let's say, environment, if you call it, and to be able to interact in this way. I am you, you are me, we are all connected. There is no separation. And when I share through you. And when you share through me. Mm. So again, it has been wonderful. I won't keep you. Again, it has been wonderful connecting with each individual in this group, and I will continue to do so.
Thank you.
So until we connect again, and thank you, Soma. I am Renturis Volantrius. We will be speaking shortly, Soma. You are aware of this.
I
But
am.
until we speak again, Shikara and Dennis, I am Renturis, sending you greetings from this station. Namaste.
Thank you. And I'd like to welcome Dennis Mulcahy as well to the session interview. And Shakara, you're up next.
I just went on a journey, so I'm, when I'm around other light language communicators or psychics or channelers, it's I get into the field. So
We know.
I'm there. So it's going to take me a minute to kind of, I'll just work from there. I mean, we're all up on that other dimension, but it's very hard to talk right now. I was feeling the intensity of that energy coming in, and my guides are, they're so excited all the time to communicate. And so they were all here. That's why I kept, when you talked about falling asleep or yawning, this, when these energies come in, it's very intense for the body sometimes. And anyway, I can usually manage it, but I'm feeling a lot of vibrations right now. It's, so, and probably the four of us too on the call. So I'd prefer to speak more in light language, and then maybe as messages come through, it's like talking to your higher self, and whoever hears this is also for everyone else. Yeah, and even the way I've been doing this is changing a little bit. So like I mentioned, sometimes these languages are star languages, sometimes they're energies, frequencies, healing, retuning. So for the particular thing that we were addressing, or that was being addressed, the energy will come through for that and more. It comes on different levels. So I'm really in another dimension right now. And I don't usually do this way, but interesting. So okay. Shkutu singir was sanin in washante. Isamanola kainin in washanko do siki tadet was shimin in wasanke. Isakotu lu nu sakotu shingir was sanin in washamoto skat washange. Inasa la koto shibin no sakainen in washamoto sakoto shingir was samanola kaine. Anta u dul a kainen in washamoto so musha otoski tete to shimin wasanko dala kinen in washamoto skane eteto doala kaine ne musha ne wasanko to shikamono wasanka eteto doala kinen in washampa ne sukuto shinen in washamoto ala kainen in washanko to sane eteto washane ne musaka Nenen was shanko ti si ki tu sika nenen was shampo to la ki nenen was shanko to ski that de sukoto masa. I know ko na nenen wa na musa ne se u kai te dish to one son and was shanko to ska badwa. Ta nenen was sanko ma sukuta and shuku tabalwa ka. And it dear. I king in the Shanka can go to a shaman. No, Sanko to us again in a Sanko to a lakine. Chikununa sinki the Washan and was Sanko to a shkane. Isako to a shin and was sama to a lakine. Isakai did to do a shinget was sama no la kainin in was Shanko to a skin and was shambu to us. Ne mo sako do shingir was san and was shante do a samba to wash. It's like 20, 30 guides are around and within me right now. Very hard to hold this energy. And they were all saying the same thing from a different perspective. It's all the same. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. You know the answer because you created the question. Shikoto was singing, it was Sanin and Washan. So they're all saying at the same time, it's like they're shouting. It's really interesting. It's like you're coming into your own of becoming fully conscious of what you're capable of. And you really no longer need to seek outside answers. Like Christie's guide, and he said, it's a dual relationship there. It's like your higher self. You know who you are there. And it's bringing that aspect down into the physical. So it's allowing that to happen and listening listening to your own wisdom. It's like the ancient remembering. So we're coming back now. We're coming back online. That's basically what's happening. So if something doesn't feel right, or you don't have a direction, or you don't know what to do, where to turn, how to do it, be still and just listen for your own voice inside. Your voice always knows. It always knows the right answer because it's calibrated to you. So everything that happens is the law of balance and the law of attraction. So when we align with certain energies, we're creating it simultaneously as we're experiencing it. It's simultaneous. So when there's something that you see that you like in the world, it's a confirmation for you that you are doing well, creating what you want. Really is a desire. And if there's something in our world that I'm going to speak in another language. So if something doesn't feel in alignment or not quite working, sometimes our higher self plus the guides and or source will bring something into our field to ask, is this what we want? Sometimes things happen that create friction to find another way to be, find another way to walk. You know, it's a spirit walk or a soul walk. Sometimes it's pushing. You know, the universe comes in or our higher self comes in and says, there's something more you need to do, or look at this, you know, and it's usually a little tap. And if we don't pay attention to it, it becomes a roar. And it's there as a gift for us to do something with. But honestly, when you begin to realize that you're creating that, everything, you're creating everything. You're creating relationships, you're creating scenarios. And this is where it gets challenging. I think what we were talking about was star people. We're all star people in the physical. Some of us have been here many, many lifetimes, which is a challenge. You know, we're unlearning things and reconfiguring things and rearranging and letting go of things. You know, I think it's more challenging for people that have been on planet Earth many times because you're carrying all these memories and they're in there, you know, and sometimes they're conflicting. I think what's also happening with all of us is all these dynamics within us are dialoguing. You know, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? The masculine and the feminine. And so there's, you know, it's like all the perspectives that you've ever had of all your lifetimes are talking to each other. You know, well, how did you do this? Well, why did you do this? And sometimes the aspects of us in other lifetimes that are more stubborn don't want to do the work. They're tired, they're frustrated, you know, they've been through a lot, but they're still living with the pain body because they haven't let it go. So a lot of this right now for many people, I think, is the great awakening of, you know, all of our aspects of self individually and then collectively. And so they're all kind of coming up for review. And it is really important not to take yourself too seriously. You know, there is no one answer. You're creating it. You're creating it over and over again. And that's the message. So you're bringing in people, places, scenarios, dynamics to resolve certain things, probably many from other lifetimes or other planetary experiences. But it's also to realize that you can just very simply shift gears. You can just shift gears. It's not that hard. So what I'm shown over and over again by all my guides is people get stuck. You know, you get in the loop. This is what the incarnation loop is. This is what blocks and problems and addictions and patterns are. You just got to look at it for what it is. You really just need to allow it to be what it is. And everything else is meaning and emotion that you put on top of it. You know, it's very challenging when someone is intuitive and sensitive because they're picking up everything, and you have to discern what is yours and what is not yours and give back what is not yours. So anytime two people come together or two scenarios come together or a person in a works situation or, you know, people and pets or dynamics, you know, a person going out in the day versus night. These are all scenarios that are coming together to do something, to create something and have an exchange. The bottom line, I'll just wrap up with this, is it's all a game. It is real. So the reality aspect of it is very real and tangible as far as we're concerned here, but on every level, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. So, you know, these questions are being asked about dynamics and energy and, you know, where to go, what to do. As you continue to raise your vibration, discernment becomes really easy. Feeling deep feelings becomes more possible because you're not being swayed by anything outside of you anymore. So that's how you find your center, and that's your 0 point. You have, each of us inside has like a pillar of light, a center, 0 point. That is what is connected to the universe. It's the universe. So when you don't know what to do, you know, we always need help and support and guidance and encouragement. But the bottom line is go in there and talk to yourself. That's how you talk to source. That's how you talk to your higher self. And you know, it's a knowing. And then you start to trust it. So the only disconnect sometimes is when we don't trust our instincts. It's like awakening the instinct again. But you know the answer. Again, like I said in the beginning, because you created the question. How do I do this? You pose the question in a sea of possibilities for you to go create an answer. So you're creating a solution, but it's not a problem. There's no problem. There's just curiosity, questions, and things to create. It's all about creation. So if something is in alignment or you don't know, just go back inside, you know, talk to yourself, your guides, your higher self, any helpers, but you, it's like we created a problem, and I don't mean you, I mean everyone. You know, we create these scenarios to figure out. And in doing so, you realize that you are creating them, but you also realize that you can create anything. So the bottom line is when you take responsibility for your creation, then you can own it. And then you go, wow, I created this, so I can change it. And you really need to know what you want. That's the key. What do you want? And most of us don't know because we forgot. We've, you know, just one last thing about this, it's important. You know, we've been talked out of even being interested in or thinking that we could have desires or wants or needs or how, you know, who am I? I mean, your source thinking for itself in an individual dynamic, but you have all the abilities that source has. The point is just have fun with it and be happy and try something new and trust. Trust yourself and release any judgments of yourself, of others, for any reason, and honor them as they are. Then you will know if it's the right fit or not for you. So it's all about alignment.
It's definitely a right fit. It's just, and thank you. Stuff I need to work on.
It's not only you. Please know that everybody is going through this.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yes, I know.
What's working?
Yeah. So thank you, Dennis, for joining us. So Christy, Clark, and Shikara Tosha were just doing channeling and then light language. Dennis, do you have any questions? I would also like to ask Dennis to do some prayers. He normally does them at the beginning or at the end. And I know that we're kind of halfway through. But Dennis, would you please like to do some prayers?
It is my guess that you're not near halfway through. It's my guess you're near the end, but we will see.
Yeah, they said that to me just as after I said we're halfway through.
All right.
So it's interesting because you when we did that last channeling together, when you were sat here, it's interesting because they were saying stuff to me that you were verbally saying. So it's interesting that we do pick up the same stream of information, which tells me that you that you're hearing the same energies. And that's all I'm going to say for now. But anyway, please go ahead and do some lovely prayers.
Okay. So I will just recite some very simple prayers and invite all to follow with their own hearts and state them for themselves and their own divine sovereignty. The first prayer is called the Law of One, and it goes like this. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks this is done. It is so. And I'll say it 2 more times. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks this is done. It is so. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, with Mother, Father God, with all the angels, all the masters, the wise ones, the ancestors, all benevolent spirits. I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks this is done. It is so. And a simple I am prayer or mantra shared by Blossom Goodchild is this: I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I would like to I would like to highly recommend people go and check out Blossom Goodchild. And some of her channeling. And thank you, Dennis.
Can I share something? Just something came in when Dennis was doing those prayers. I get a very clear message that, which is totally in alignment with what we were talking about before, that a prayer is a confirmation. You know, so especially I think, you know, when people come from a religious background, institutional religious background, we think of prayer as asking higher sources that know more than us, or that, you know, have more power, more ability, please help us. A lot of times, I'm not saying everyone, but sort of like, I don't know what to do, my small self needs guidance. Well, we all need guidance. But so often I think people, when they pray like, you know, please help me, and then they wait for someone to rescue them, or they wait for someone to give them an answer. I mean, it's very much in alignment with what we were talking about. Or they want somebody to solve their problem. Just like we're doing problems in math class, you have to solve your own. That's how you know. It's how you learn. You make a mistake. So even the judgment that something comes up about self-judgment, there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. There is no one way. There is no one way. I mean, this is a prayer as I'm stating this. But what was interesting also when he said that.
Can I just add, I just want to add very quickly that I love that when you said there's no mistakes, because they've been saying that to me for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. So even when Christy's guide was saying, you know, sometimes we're being too hard on ourselves. Lighten up, lighten up, lighten up. This is part of the program that we've all been through. You're not good enough. It's not right. You'll never get it right. I used to have a boss, when I had a boss a long, long time ago, that would say it's not quite right in his English accent. But it was never right. And, you know, I had another senior manager who would say, oh, it's, you know, you're close, even when I was there, you know, or you know, under delivered or whatever, as a tactic to keep people motivated. But that's not fair. You know, just like with children, you need to reward them with love and support when they've achieved something that they are trying to do. And when they make a mistake, not to punish them, but to show them another way of doing it, or how great that you tried. You know, it's all language, it's all vibration. And so most of this comes down to, you know, dialogue with our inner self and the parent dynamics and everything. It's humiliating situations, or people didn't believe in us, or most of the time parents checked out. they didn't even know what they were doing. So these young souls come in looking for understanding, I think at a higher level, recognizing their, when you're with source, like everybody knows everything. It's a collective understanding. But the prayer part is really interesting because this notion of speaking into existence what you desire. So when I make a prayer, when I go outside and I offer tobacco, or I pray to the trees, or I touch a tree, or I pray for someone's happiness, I'm getting more and more aware that I can't do anything for them. I can wish them well. I can put a good word in, I can encourage them, but the person has to want to do it. They have to want to change. And until you get to that point, it doesn't matter. But when a person prays honestly from their heart, it's willing a desire. You're saying to the universe, I want this, instead of saying, I don't want this. It's very important, what I'm understanding, to say, okay, well, what do you want? So the prayer, even with my guides, I said, I know you can't do the work for me, but I'm kind of lost here. Can you point me in the right direction? And then I'll get an understanding, and then I'll keep doing the work. But it's this notion of putting it out in the world. You put out a prayer. I want this. I desire this. I want to have this experience. I'd like a harmonious work relationship, or job relationship, or family, or partnership. You put it out what you want, and then you let it go. Just like Christy was saying, you just give it away. You give it, I don't usually use the word God, but you give it to God. You give it to Creator, Spirit. You give it to your higher self. It knows what to do. But the last thing is the idea, whatever you state becomes reality. When Dennis was saying, I am something, Blossom's wonderful, by the way. And, very high vibrational person. And she understands, you speak it into existence. So I am something. The something is what you become. But you're defining that. Everybody's defining that. So the I am, period. We whittle away the something, the this, the that, I am. So first of all, it's important not to say I am not, or I want or need something like you don't have it. It's finding that within yourself. The second part is we get to a point, just like Christy was saying, of nothingness. I am, period. I am not myself. I am not my social security number. I am not, you take on all these roles. You're someone's daughter, partner, friend, or whatever. But the bigger I that we're growing back into that bigger self, knows who it is. So it's important to ask whatever question you're considering, but don't look at it as a problem that needs a solution. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, all that to say.
Thank you, Shakara. As you were speaking, I was getting messages. So that's really lovely. With some of my questions earlier to Renturis. So I think, Dennis, is there anything you want to add before we go around the circle again?
No, thank you.
Okay. So this is a question for everyone. So, and especially Shakara, because I know you have a lot of I know that you've been working extremely hard the last couple of years, and as you've gone forward, I get the feeling that you've increased what you're doing more and more and more and more and more. And So the question to everyone is, what's coming up for you? What's next? What's next?
You want to go,
Yeah,
Christy, or me?
it's you. Oh, can I just add? I I I'm in a space in my life where I feel that the only way I can describe it is I'm on a plane and the plane's about to take off.
Yep. Interesting. Well, that's kind of what's happening to all of us. I think there's a, I can only speak for myself what I'm going through, which has been quite a lot that with my work and my life and moving around and doing all this stuff. 10 years of downloads, 7, 8, 9 hours a day of messages. I've lived very minimal, which has been quite challenging. Stayed at 30 or 40 different places, traveled around, spoke at places, and then got very quiet off grid. You just talk to the birds and the trees and the clouds, which are great listeners, and messengers. And so what's happening to me is I'm realizing everything has a message, everything is a guide, everything. I'm learning every single second. I don't go to work. I am the work, which is not work, it's play. I came up with this word plurking. I'm plurking. It's play work. Because I don't take it, it's my job, but and my mission, whatever. But it's, I'm writing the script and that I'm freestyling and free falling. I mean, it's really interesting. So I'm finalizing my memoirs about becoming what am right now. And it's interesting because it's bringing back so many memories of many times in my life. I didn't understand what I was doing, didn't know where to go, how to do it, why it was happening, how to put all these pieces together. So I literally, what I'm being shown through the whole picture in the last 10 years is I had to completely, what's the word? Take apart myself, to find myself. I've let everything go. I've been through so much, shamanic deaths, honestly, over and over and over again. The dark night of the soul about 50 times, huge realizations, downloads, floating. I mean, messages, seeing guides. It's just incredible, and I haven't really talked to anybody about this. And I think this is what's brewing. And I realized I needed to put it together in a way that I felt made sense to me. So all these books, hundreds of books. I can't even begin to describe the amount of work that I've done. When I look at it, I go, wow. And then when people read my material, like somebody just recently told me when they were reading my book, which is still a PDF. I'm still in the process of printing it. But he said, you're teaching these profound things, like a different way of looking at the world and energy and working with things, but you're also teaching techniques and methods to empower people and tools. But he said, while I was reading it, I was actually going through an ascension process. So whatever you were doing with the light language, the vibration or whatever, he was feeling what I was talking about as if he was actually experiencing it. And what he said to me was, it was from the material, but it's multidimensional, which you mentioned before. So there's the information that starts to, open up your mind, I guess, if you want to say that. But then there's the vibration and then the light language. And then, but every single word in everything I do is coded. It's sequenced. There's a consciousness in each element, and then I put it together. So I recently finished my catalog of all my work, like 200 kinds of events and offerings, performance, ceremony. And I had to put all this together. And I realized, wow, one person, I don't understand how I've done that much, I'm supposed to share it the way that it came to me. So it's whole package. So anyway, it's a lot. I'm a lot. I'm a lot for people. And I realize that. So
I know how
what's
that
so
goes.
phenomenal. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're open. So what's great is I feel like I've found myself. I found my voice again. I found my purpose. And I'm not looking outside for anything to define that. I'm just happy with what I'm doing. You like it or not, you vibrate with it or not. It makes sense to you. You can use it, you can work with it, but it's really not about me. So I had to go through that to understand the me-ness in it, the artist in it, the creator, the multidimensional person, but also to see that it's a human condition that we all have to experience. So my biggest challenge was, how do I take these incredibly complex vibrations and thought forms and that kind of thing, and wisdom, that I've learned and lived. I've lived it, and put it in a way that is really easy for people. And I want to be really clear. What really has been coming to me is that I very deliberately don't want to do anything to people. It's not my job. It's not my responsibility. I'm not putting a spell out. I'm not, jamming them up so they can see a higher dimension or whatever. It really has to come from the person. So the only way I can do that is to be in that space myself. So that's my biggest challenge. How do I maintain? I mean, the discipline required to do what I've done is, quite challenging. And so anyway, all of this is coming together in books and webinars. Like right now, I am finalizing a huge 7-day on location course. And so even doing the course, I start out and go, okay, yeah, I know I want to talk about ascension. And then it gets layered and layered and layered. And then the guides go, oh no, you got to weave it this way. And then you got to do light language every day at these key moments for this time. I mean, it really is like weaving a Mayan tapestry. I mean, it's really incredible. And then certain guides come in and they're calling songs. So it's like basically the whole format of every time I present something, whether it's and this is why it's challenging to, not share so much. I see the whole picture. I mean, it's my Arcturian brain. I see the whole blueprint and I just want to do that. And so it's like being selective is my biggest challenge, because it's so much, it's so vast, and I want to share it. I'm excited. I want people to see, not see how I see, but see that it's possible. Things are possible. So anyway, so doing this course, which is my course, I realized when I got my whole catalog together, I was writing, I scripted out the webinars and for every event, webinar, and class, like hundreds of them. So that's what I'm starting to share now. Anyway, so that's the big work, and it's being rolled out in books in the next 2-3 weeks. I'm going to roll out all these books, all these webinars, all these meditations, all these products, oracle cards. I mean, everything. It's like an enterprise. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Fantastic. Yeah, I see all that. Well, actually, what I see is, well, I'm not going to say what I see, but I see a lot of good stuff for you.
Thank you.
And Christy, over to you. What's next for you?
He's doing it right now.
What's
We
next
know that.
is what's next is really interesting, really. And as Shakara was sharing there again, I was processing where I was at, and we can come here as a group and we can connect and we can share all our wonderful experiences, which we do. And when I get a download, when I get an update, when I get a beautiful photograph of an orb or a being or a family member that comes across from the other side, I get excited, I get emotional. It lifts me, it takes me into another vibration and frequency. What do I do with that? Where do I go with that? And that is just one piece of the jigsaw. Um, so
Yeah.
having been there, I understand what it means to suffer. As I shared earlier on, we're all quite fragile, and we have to put the focus back on self. So my mission is quite clear, like, I've come here to help others come out of their darkness and back into the light. It's quite simple. And if that is just through a conversation, if it's channeling a message from Renturis, if it's showing an image that I have taken, I will do that, like. And as I shared earlier on, when they asked me, was I ready? And I said, yes. He says, okay, let's start. The work now begins on self and a wider community, like. So I think that's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here in this call, like, and it's how they work and it's how we work. They're working through me to get to you, similar to yourselves and Shakara as to what she has shared, like. So we are one piece of the puzzle, as they say, like, and it's important that we give it away, as Ventura said, like, to keep it, we need to give it away. So as I share today in our chat, Soma, uh, I'm quite relaxed at the moment. I have no great plans. It's late in the evening. We will be switching off shortly. I will wake up to a new day tomorrow. Um, what happens in my sleep state will be another question that maybe we can explore at a later date. But a new day, Source will bring me into, and I will let it play out. And it could be a swim, it could be a cycle, it could be a walk in the forest. But it will be definitely one of those three, and I'll take it as it comes, like. So that's where I'm at, like. I don't like going too far ahead. I've made that mistake before, like. Um, I'm either out there in the past or I'm projecting into the future, like, and I've often watched myself how I'm trying to manifest something, not knowing that it's actually happening now. It's there. I have it. There's no need to look anywhere for it, Christy. It's there. So I I stay much aware of that, like, and so I try to keep it simple, like, and by keeping it simple, it allows me to continue on the path I'm on, like. So thank you.
Thank you, Christy. I think what you said is really important, and I really resonate with that, especially in these days that I'm in. It's yeah. And Dennis, I'm going to ask you the same question
Can
as
I
well.
share one thing? Can I just share a phrase?
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't watch too many other people's work for lots of reasons, as we all do. I'm doing my thing, but I really have to say what Chrissy was talking about. Alex Collier, I don't know if you're familiar with him,
Yeah.
but brilliant man. It's been
Yes.
around for years, who connects with the Andromedans.
Yes.
But he said a phrase, I'll watch a video for 5 minutes and I get the keyword that I need, and then I go off and, work with it. But he said something very profound that would be very helpful to people. That's why I want to bring it in right now. He said something like, the Andromedans showed him that, I want to get this right. It's like, I want to give credit where credit is due, They showed him that the pain that you carry in any form is the love that you're withholding and not giving away.
Wow. Isn't
I
that
just thought the way
powerful?
that was said.
Please,
to
can you
him,
say that again, Shakara?
yeah,
So
the
Alex Collier
pain,
said this.
yes,
Okay.
this was what the Andromedans showed him and he, like all of us, is, when you deal in these higher realms, it's challenging. You're dealing with human dynamics and everything. But they said to him, the pain that you carry, probably through many lifetimes and probably in different forms, mental pain, physical pain, spiritual, psychological, the pain that you carry is the love that you're withholding, that you're not giving away.
Wow.
So when Christy was talking about giving it away, that immediately came to mind. When you're sharing, when you're giving, you're in a creative state. So you're just, being present for another person. You get outside of yourself. And when we go inward, I mean, which is, we need things, but anyway, you know what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. I just thought what Christy was saying, that's what I picked
Yeah.
up on.
Yeah, Shakara, Alex Collier was, I would see him as my mentor, and I followed him for the last 30 years. And
Genius.
that statement that you made, the love that you withhold is the pain that you carry lifetime after lifetime. And it's a wonderful phrase that he was given to bring back to the collective, it's quite real when you break it down and understand word for word, so very interesting. Thank you.
The
Yeah.
irony is that you can let go of the baggage whenever you want.
Wow. Thank you so much, guys. So we're coming up to 11 o'clock. Oh, there is. There he is. So what is coming up for you next, Dennis? You're on mute, darling.
He's
All right.
telepathic.
I will allow you to would you like me to list your answer to be public, or do you want me to stop the recording?
Fine.
Are you okay to be recorded?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that a yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's coming up for me is a secret.
Oh my God, I love that
Those are the
sentence
best.
so much. It just
Uh,
thrills me.
yeah. Yeah, I'm very certain there are some exciting roles and challenges for me ahead, and I look forward to that. And they will be what they will be, and I don't feel a need to say too much of that. The now is so important. And everyone who is going to listen to this call, I am very certain that they are so important. They are chosen, called. They have a sole mission to hear this. No accidents. And it's not just me who's got, or us here on this call, who have some exciting things coming upon us. The whole world is experiencing fantastic change. And we're looking at it and we go, wow, isn't this amazing? Well, it's going to get a whole lot more amazing and a whole lot more chaotic. It is going to be amazing. And what is important is that their souls here on the planet who in this seeming chaos are calm, have trust, have confidence that there is a divine plan which is rolling out, and that you are part of it, and we are part of it, and I am part of it. And, you know, some here in the group are already very vocal. You are, Soma and Shakira, you are, and you're going to be stepping into that in a very dramatic and bold and public way. Yay!
Yay!
It's fantastic. But that's important and valuable. But what is most important is not the doing, and people will have their doings, which is inspired by their heart. It is the being. It is our beingness. It is your beingness that is going to keep this ship afloat on heavy waves and waters. It is so important that
with some humor, did you say ship or shit?
Ship, keeping the ship afloat in the shitstorm.
We know, we're just adding humor.
All right. It is beingness. And so here you are, you have the training of lifetimes. You have the ability within you. So now is the time of just attunement. Attunement so as your tolerance becomes only infinite, and your forgiveness becomes.
I forgive you, darling.
Your forgiveness becomes total.
Yeah.
And your compassion is complete.
I feel like I need to bow down now to you.
Because this is what is. This is your role.
I know you can hear me. I know you keep talking, but I know you can hear
me. Yeah. And so very exciting times. It is that beingness. And personally, one of my projects as a starseed is not helping people find out who they are, because that truly is a journey of self-discovery to find one's magnificent uniqueness, which spans eons of lifetimes. But one cannot know who one is if one doesn't have the foundation of knowing what one is. And there is so much confusion to people on the what they are. And we're not just material, we're not just biochemical. And it's important. We are human, but it's important what definition you apply to human. And it is so important that we understand that we are spirit. We are not humans having a spiritual experience. We are immortal spirit beings choosing to have this physical, material, human experience so as it can be uplifted for all. And that is the key of people touching, connecting with their own heart space. And when one has that foundation of brushing away so much false teachings and false beliefs, of knowing of one's own divinity, now one can spring into unlimited powers, knowledge, and create so much more magnificently.
Mm. The frequencies feel like they're just raising us higher and higher and higher and higher, higher altitudes, higher altitudes, higher altitudes. And it's in the spaces in between those altitudes that we ground and find stillness and peace, and in nature, if necessary, to balance everything, the male, the female, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the stillness, the balance, the equilibrium, in order to go higher to the next phase or level or process or dimension or connection or ability or awareness or consciousness, and then the next and the next and the next. It's the spaces in between where we balance our energies, our abilities, our even motivation, we could say, transcendence and velocity in between those layers and levels. You are all leveling up predominantly as star seeds and moving to the next level, the next level, the next level, the next level. And you do that each and every day, in each and every waking moment, even unawake when you are asleep and perhaps on the astral. And when you do it, as the four of you do, as star seeds, as the four of you do as star seeds, including, and we include all star seeds and the similar ilk. As you do it, you open the door, open the portals to allow humanity to do the same, to follow in your path. Walk gracefully on your earth. There is a great reset, and we consider this a positive phrase, a great reset that has been happening for quite some time. There are great changes coming to your food production in a much more positive way, where it is much more beneficial for your human bodies. Less toxins, less chemicals, less poisons. Be graceful, be kind to yourselves, be open to life changes, be open to receiving love without judgment. We always include Soma with all of our transmissions, and some are closer to home than others. We would like to say thank you, most especially to three of you, Shakara, Dennis, and Christy. And to Soma for all of you showing up. We would like to leave with a very humorous note that Jesus was an alien. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to end the recording there. Unless there's anything else anyone would like to say. We've been here for quite some time this evening, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's gone very quickly.
I want to thank you all for everything that you shared today. Uniquely, really appreciate it all. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Enjoy.